Good morning to one and all. In the previous class, we discussed about these committees, how the highway development is takes place in our India, and those different committees, how they formed under their establishment years. First, we discussed these JICAR committee formation. After that, we discussed this central road fund, which was implemented on petroleum products. This is the Central Road Fund establishment year is 1929. Okay, how the fund was utilized for different categories like highways, state highways, and other district roads. This is the Indian Road Congress and their implementations on the highways and other road constructions. Today we will discuss about this. After that point, one of that is Motor Vehicle Act. That means every motor vehicle user, they need to follow their instructions and the implementations which was developed by this Motor Vehicle Act. Actually, it was formed in the year of 1939. That means before independence, this Motor Vehicle Act was formed. And what are those rules? We will discuss to regulate the road traffic in the form of traffic laws and ordinances and regulations. That means before this motor vehicle act, there is no rules and regulation for the road traffic. Few rules are there, but those are not implemented by the users. Due to those severe accidents was occurring, so that they decided that they need to implement these motor vehicle act to arrest those accidents, and they need to minimize those to strengthen the country and people life. So that they need to form this motor vehicle act. In this motor vehicle act, they are implemented strict traffic rules and ordinances and regulations. That means traffic laws. Whenever we are reaching at junctions, we will observe red light, green light, and orange light. Those lights are different traffic points. So whenever there is a blowing of red light, we need to stop at that point. Whenever there is a blowing of green light, we need to move our vehicle. Whenever there is a pedestrians, we need to stop the vehicles. So these are the some of the points. And there is a zebra crossing line which was on the roads. At that roads, we need to minimize our traffic speed of the vehicle, and we need to give priority for road pedestrians. Okay. And other ordinances, whenever there is an accident occurs, the minimum amount of charging and others, whenever there is an illegal transporting system is there, what are the rules should they have to implement on those, and the regulations. Regulations means it is the toll gate charges and other taxes which was implemented on petroleum and other petroleum products. All those comes under these motor vehicle acts. And next one is the three phases primary covered are control of driver and vehicle ownership and vehicle operation. In these three phases, control of driver, that means the total vehicle movement is depending upon the driver's mindset and their attitude. That means if the driver is drinking, the vehicle should not be on his own control, so that he may have chance to lead to accidents. So that the control of driver is the first priority. After that, second priority is the vehicle ownership, for which person the vehicle belongs to and which person is driving. That is the second criteria. And next, third one is the vehicle operation, whether it is in which condition it is safe to drive or not. That means every 1 year we are saying that our colleges there are so many buses. Those buses will go to checking for their service life and others, so that they will give a certificate for that. If the buses having certificate, they are free to rotate on those areas. So these are the three phases of acts. First one is the control of driver. That means driving Next one is the vehicle ownership, for whom that vehicle belongs to. And third one is the vehicle operation, and the engine state and the tires and their other extra facilities in the buses and other motor vehicles. And this was revised means the some of the rules and the regulations are prolonged and not prolonging they are revised. That means few modifications are occurred in the year of 1988. That means nearly 49 years after forming of this motor vehicle act, the revision of this motor vehicle act takes place to strengthen the traffic rules and regulations. These are the points comes in motor vehicle act. Next one, CRRI, that means Central Road Research Institute. This was formed after the independence in the year of 1950. In those we are having totally 7 points, so we will discuss one by one. First one is engaged in carry out research and development projects. That means engaged, that means they are associated with other engagement. That means those are associated with another projects and carrying out and the research development projects. So that the first sentence means with some of the projects are self. That means that project is not related to any other activity. Some of the projects are related to few activities. That means while going that activity they need to check those material strengths and properties and their implementations in the field, and all of those comes under this engaged and carrying out research. Particularly there is a research means we need to check the material strength and their properties in different conditions, so that the how long the material will takes in the service. So all those things have to researched by the researchers, and they have to publish a paper on that material, so that they are using particular material of this quality, and this quality of material having this amount of lifespan. Those materials should be used with another binding materials like so many fibers and other additives also, so that all those comes under this research activities and engaged with other activities. Next one is the design, construction and maintenance of roads. First term design, that means we need to design the particular road for particular amount of traffic, so that in the villages we are having less quantity of traffic. That means in the villages we are having few people living in that particular area, so that the traffic is so low compared to cities and other metropolitans. In the metropolitan areas we are having huge amount of population density, so that in the particular area we are having few areas we are having huge amount of traffic. That means we need to design the roads depending upon the population density and different traffic criterias. Next one, construction and maintenance. This construction and maintenance means first of all we need to construct a particular road depending upon their design procedures, and design different kinds of materials proposed by the designers, and we need to maintain that roads and other road like materials like bridges and other passages, so that we need to maintain those along their lifespan. That means if they are having a 70 years or 80 years, throughout those span of life we need to monitor those roads and bridges. If there is any major or minor repairs, we need to do those in their lifespan. And the runways, that means these runways are normally kept for pedestrians. That means పాదచారుల వాళ్ళకి వదిలేస్తారు. And traffic and transport planning of mega and medium cities. That means in this 1950 the terminology is not implemented, so as in our nowadays we are calling metropolitan cities and other capital cities. So in those days they are using mega and medium cities. Mega city means like simply a capital city of a state, and medium cities like a small scale cities having average population. And next one, management of roads in different terrains. These terrains is comes under geology. That means engineering geology we will study in our third year courses, engineering geology and geotechnical engineering. In those two subjects you will observe this terrains term. That means different terrains, black cordon soils, alluvial soils and other foothills. That means near the hills, that means mountains and other plateaus. You need you will discuss this term terrains. Next one is the improvement of marginal materials. That means we need to use different kinds of low cost materials to construct the project to decrease the total cost of the project, so that within a low cost we will build a huge amount of roads and others along the path. This is the improvement of marginal materials. Next one is the utilization of industrial waste in road construction. Utilization of industrial waste. Nowadays we are having different kinds of industries based upon the manufacturing process. First of all we will discuss this industrial waste. Industrial waste means we are having a huge amount of NTPCs. That means thermal power corporations, national thermal power corporation. This NTPC means in those national thermal power corporation, it is one of the industry, leading industry for power generation. In our state we are having near Vijayawada we are having NTPC. In those NTPCs they are mainly using coal based thermal power generation. That means they are using coal as a raw material for the production of electricity. The waste material comes from those industry is fly ash. That means fly ash is the thermal waste coming from the industries, so that they are using fly ash in the road construction as a filling material. Okay, this is comes under industrial waste. And the next other one is the in the steel industries we are having waste like GGBS, ground granulated blast furnace slag. That is called GGBFS, ground granulated blast furnace slag. This is the waste coming from the steel industries. That means we are having steel is the one of the building material, like, so this waste also GGBFS also utilizing as a filling material and other uh, materials in the concrete industries, so that we need to utilize those industrial wastes for different purposes to decrease their land consumption in the states and other central level. Next one is the landslide control. These landslides, that means nowadays we are seeing in so many countries due to natural unclimatics. That means natural unclimatics means huge amount of floods and rains coming in Kerala and Assam, like that. In our foreign countries also, in the Japan and other Hiroshima, those are having a huge amount of floods. In those floody periods they are having a huge amount of landslides and hill slides. Due to those, huge amount of traffic will be jammed and daily needs and needs of the population should be stopped due to these natural unclimatics. We need to control those by using different land densification methods, and we need to implement different geotechnical properties to strengthen the soil below the road level, so that they need to bear huge amount of earthquake loads and other seismic loads and other floody regions, and they need to withstand through their lifespan. Next one is the ground improvements. It also comes under this land controlling of landslide control. This is the ground improvement means we need to strengthen the soil below the road level. This is the ground improvement. That means by using different kinds of fibers and other cementitious materials and calcareous materials like lime and other epoxy resins and other growing agents and grunting agents, and we need to improve the soil properties by ground improvement. Next one is the environmental pollution. We need to reduce the pollution caused by the casting of these roads, so that while we are laying these tar roads, a huge amount of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide were evolving while burning this tar beside the roads, so that we need to control those. And the next one is the traffic safety, that means road traffic safety. While constructing these roads and other, we need to ensure the safety of workmanship. For example, labor and others are working near these hill slides and other bridges, and also we need to safeguard the labor and other engineers while they are working for the implementing of these roads. We'll go for next slide. Next one is the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. These ministries, those are useful to allocate the funds which are coming from the central level. Those funds have to utilize for the planning and development of different national highways, state highways, so that we need to improve the density of the roads in a particular area. If the roads are very good in our country, they automatically our GDP will increases and tourism increases and industrialization increases and water and other also increases. Automatically our country is well developing due to this road transportation increment. First one is the planning and development and maintenance of national highways in the country. Planning, development and maintenance. On the previous slides we are slowly seen that 20-year plans, that means 1920 to 1940, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, those are 20-year road development plans. In those 20 years they fixed for particular aim, that means for every square feet we need to develop zero point 0.6 kilometers of roads. Like that they are for every 20 years they need to do particular projects for implementing the road transportation systems in the country, so that they need to plan development and maintenance the national highways. That means planning means before the year starts they need to first plan in the further 20 years what we have to do, how much amount of roads we need to construct and how much amount of bridges we need to construct. All those they need to plan. And next one is the development, that means they need to develop those plans in working. And next one and maintenance, that means they have to maintain the existing roads through the different for suppose there are some existing roads, they are having some maintenance, means there are small cracks and others are coming due to heavy rapid vehicle movement. They need to minimize those by using different maintenance techniques in highways and other in a country. Next one is the extends technical and finance supports to the state governments for the development of straight roads and other roads. That is the extends the technical finance support. If there is a huge amount of finance, that means money which are allocated for the construction of roads, we need to construct huge amount of roads. All of those money can be depends upon the GDP of the country. If the GDP is high, we have huge amount of funds. If the GDP is low, we have low number of funds. So total GDP can be calculated by using different parameters. So that if we are having financial support, we need to utilize those financial support for the construction of different levels of roads in our state level and city levels and village levels. Okay. Next one, evolve the standard specifications for the roads and bridges in the country. We need to evolve what are the minimum standards for the construction of road, what is the minimum thickness of the road what we are keeping, and what is the minimum length of the road, what is the thickness of road at a particular curves, what is the angle we need to maintain at the so curves, and what is the super elevation, what is the minimum amount of passage area. All those rules we need to minimum and remember, and those rules can be implemented while we are laying these roads and other bridges. What is the minimum height from road to bridge support, all those we need to maintain. So why? Because if lorries and other high raised mechanical equipment was traveling below the bridges, they need to say travel easily. That if they didn't travel from the bridges, there is obstruction formed. Okay, we need to overcome those obstructions by maintaining proper ratios and proper values while constructing a bridges and other roads and other utilities for the transportation purpose. Next one, it stores the data related to technical knowledge on roads and bridges. That means for every year what we are developing the roads, what amount of restoration we have done, what amount of maintenance we have done, all those data they can be maintained by using different logical books and others. They need to store that data in the form of paper proof, so that whenever there is audit is going on the projects, they need to show their documental proof to the officers. Next one is a highway research board, HRB. In the shortcut we are calling highway research board. In those we are having 5 points. First point is that to ascertain the nature, to extend the research required to ascertain the nature. That means while the industrialization or any other transportation levels are heavying, that means we are decreasing the forest cover. You need to know the forest cover. That means in the olden days we are having a huge amount of forest cover, so that our granary system is so high in olden days. But in the nowadays we are simply destroying the forests and constructing so many projects in the forest, so that wildlife is obstructing, so that the wildlife coming to the man-made areas, so that we are disturbing, so that we are disturbing a lot to the wildlife. They are simply destroying the wildlife. We need to ascertain the nature to extend the research required within a small period of small scale of gap. We need to construct a huge amount of road transport, like by using these metro lines, and within a single span we need to construct bridges and railways in a single column. Those things we need to implement in the future for saving a huge amount of land cover for forest areas. Next one is that to correlate research information from the various organizations in India and abroad. We are having different kinds of IITs and NITs and other institutional bodies which are having research centers. In those research centers, they are every year they are spending a huge amount of money for the research work. We need to utilize those research work and implement the few innovations. That means new innovations to our daily life to ascertain those materials and land covers. Next one is the to collect and correlation of the services. That means whatever the data we are collecting from the research bodies, we need to correlate to the our services. That means the construction and maintenance. Next one, collect the result on research. We need to collect those data and we need to evolve those data and shown in the constructional purposes. Next one, channelize the consultative services. That means channelizing means we need to improve the consultative service of those who are building these roads and others. We need to ascertain those also. Next one, this is the major classification. This classification of highways was asking a long question in our Jntuk papers. You need to remember this classification of highways depending upon weather, all weather roads and fair weather roads. That means డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ వెదర్. దట్ మీన్స్ మన యొక్క వెదర్ ప్రకారం, అంటే మనకి ఎండాకాలం, వానాకాలం, చలికాలం అని చెప్పి డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్స్ ఆఫ్ సీజన్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ దేర్ సీజనల్ ఫెసిలిటీస్ in our day-to-day life, we need to ascertain those roads into different fields. For suppose in our India we are having different kinds of atmospheres, like in our southern region we are having huge amount of heat, but in case of northern region we are having cold country, like Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh and others, Sikkim, like that. We need to see overall conditions in the India. For suppose all weather roads means in throughout the year the transportation takes place in all weather roads. That means all weathers, in all weather conditions the transportation takes place. Those roads are called all weather roads. Next second one is the fair weather roads. Those are not fair, that means not working in few environmental conditions, like whenever there is a winter season, a huge amount of snow can be deposited on the roads, so that there is a obstruction to the transportation. In some of the states, in monsoon seasons, that means in rainy seasons there are huge amount of rains, so that the total amount of water should be immersed on the roads. The transportation obstructs in some of the rainy seasons, so that the roads are suitable for which regions, so that these classification can done on depending upon the weather conditions. All weather roads and fair weather roads, simply we need to remember these all weather roads and fair weather roads. If the atmosphere is sufficient for all conditions, these are called all weather roads. If atmosphere is not sufficient for a few, those are called fair weather roads. Next one is the depending upon the type of carriageway. That means carriage, that means the way which carries vehicles. Those way, the way is called carriage. That means carriageway, carrying a way, that is carriageway. First one is the paved roads. In the beside we are brackets, we are having WBM, waterborne macadam roads. Those are called paved roads. Means the top layer should be paved with cement concrete or bituminous tar. Those roads are called paved roads. In the second condition we are having unpaved roads. That means the top layer is unpaved. That means simply we are having a mud. That means ఒక మట్టి రోడ్లు అంటారు చూసారా, అవన్నీ కూడా మీకు unpaved roads, earth roads and gravel roads. That means the top layer should be filled with this gravel and small stone dust and chips. These are called unpaved roads depending upon the carriageway. Next, third one is depending upon pavement surface. Okay, pavement surface, surfaced roads. That means top layer is surfaced with the help of bituminous and cement concrete. In the previously known the BT roads and CC roads. These are BT roads means bitumen tar road, or CC roads means cement concrete roads. Those are surfaced roads. Next one, unsurfaced roads. That means as previously like a carriageway, those roads, those two are correlated to one to one. That means paved roads and surfaced roads, those are similarly same but technically different. Next one, classification of highways. How we will differentiate the highways depending upon their utility based on the traffic volume. This traffic volume can be calculated with number of vehicles traveling per hour. You need to remember this. This is the one of the bit asked in recent Sachivalayam jobs. Traffic volume can be measured with number of vehicles per hour. That is the traffic volume basically we are measuring on the roads. Simply the human being is standard on particular road, they are having some radium laser guns. Simply they measures how many number of vehicles are traveling particular hour. They simply measured with those laser guns. This gives the directly number of vehicles traveling in a particular hour. In the peak hours, what is the traffic density? In the medium hours, what is the traffic density? And at the night time, what is the traffic density? All those can be calculated by using these laser guns. Okay, based upon the traffic volume, heavy, medium and light. Heavy roads means these national highways are also called as these heavy loads. Why? Because in a 24 hours span, automatically they have lorries and other carriage vehicles simply traveling on those national highways. Those are heavy traffic vehicles. The next one, medium traffic vehicles. These medium traffic vehicles roads we will observe in cities, normal cities, and lightweight roads. So that means light traffic roads we will observe in villages. Okay, these are the roads classified depending upon the traffic volume. Heavy roads, medium roads and light roads. Heavy, medium and light, HML. You need to remember that. Like, next one, based upon the load and tonnage, that means load and tonnage, those two are similar term. Load and tonnage, normally for a vehicle having a capacity, normally we are seeing for these tractors and other carriage vehicles, their their capacity will be calculated in terms of tons. This lorry, for suppose Ashok Leyland and other lorries, there are simply used for the traveling purpose for goods. Simply they are calculating these weights and others at the bridge weighing balances. First one, class 1, class 2, etc., or class A, class B, depending upon the tons per day. In the roads, they are keeping some measuring sensors at the edges, not edges, at the joints. They are keeping these sensors. Those sensors will automatically measure the how much amount of tonnage vehicles daily traveling on that road. They use the data to the system. Automatically system they will manipulate the data as per the road. Next one is the based on the location and function. Based on location and function. Location means the road is located on particular area, that means Hyderabad or Bangalore or Delhi or Chennai or any other, so or Lucknow or any other place, depending upon the location. And function, that means what amount of vehicles, that means what kind of vehicles are traveling on that road. So depending, those are called functions. Okay, these are the big, depends upon the location and function. Nagpur road plan, also called as Nagpur road plan. In those classification of highways are first one, national highway, that means national highway interconnecting major parts of the nation. Next one, state highway. This state highway we are interconnecting major cities of the state. And next one, major district roads. These major district roads are connecting major places in the state. Next one, other district roads. These other district roads combine different districts in the state level. Next one, village roads. These village roads are used to interconnect to different villages in a particular district. Okay, you need to remember that national highway, that means those highways connecting different parts of the nation, important parts of the nation, so that they are called as national highways, NH. And next one, state highways. In those state highways, they are connecting different states and important places in the states, so that they are called state highways. Next one, major district roads. These major district roads, that means major districts in the state level are connected with this MDR, that means major district roads. Next one, other districts roads, that means a small districts having low population, those are connected with these other district roads. And village roads, surrounding villages are collected in a district. This is the classification depending upon the location and function. Next one, depending upon the modified system, highways classified into primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay, in the previous also we are seeing national highways, state highways, major district roads, other district roads and village roads. But depending upon the functions, first one is the primary, secondary and tertiary. In the primary we are having two kinds of roads. In those, first one is the express highways. In those express highways, the vehicle speed minimum 100 kilometers per hour. And next one, national highways, express highways and national highways. In those we are having generally all we are aware in the RTC systems. In those RTC systems, normally we are having expresses, super fasts and Pallavelugu buses we are having. So that different kinds of buses having different functions and different ticket rates depending upon their traveling period and utility. So that we are simply understand by using those concepts of RTC, express highways and national highways. Second one is the secondary roads. These secondary roads we are having two, state highways and major district roads. Those two are related to the state level. These national highways and express highways are majorly related to nation, that means overall country. The secondary roads are depending upon our state level, and tertiary roads, other district roads and village roads are related to district. First we need to remember like this, in the bottom to top. In the first tertiary we will focus on districts in the state. In the secondary we are focused on different capitals in the state levels. In the third primary we will discuss connected different important places and major parts of the country, villages, state level, country level. Okay, village and districts, state level, country level, village, state, country. You need to remember like that. Primary, secondary and tertiary. In the primary part we will mainly focus on nation level, that means main capitals and important places. In the secondary level we will focus on main places and capitals in the state level. In the third level we will focus on villages. Okay, this is the classification of these highways. These expressways, in the previous system we are having totally 6 kinds of roads: expressways, national highways and other 4. With those we will discuss about these expressways. These expressways are normally used for heavy traffic. That means we are having a speed of more than 100 kilometers, approximately 120 kilometers per hour. That means huge amount of speed. Normally these speed vehicles are shown in these express highways, and the width of the highway is minimum 90 meters, and full access control to the vehicles traveling on those express highways, and connects the major points of traffic generation. That means where there are major generation, uh, all we are all we are living in the Guntur, majorly we are having expressway from Guntur to Vijayawada. Okay, this expressway connects Guntur to Vijayawada. That means on that road we are simply passing on more than 100 kilometers per speed. This is the one of the example for these express highways. And no slow moving traffic allowed on that particular roads, and no loading and unloading. That means in a few roads there will be loading and unloading for lorries and other utilities of traffic, so that those kind of vehicles are not allowed to pass in these expressways. For suppose they are passed, it is okay for no loading and unloading points should be taken on that particular expressways. And second one we will discuss about national highways. That means national highways, these are running through the length and breadth of the India. That means throughout the length and throughout the width. That means if we assume our India as a cross, that means cross means plus junction. In the throughout the x-axis and throughout the y-axis we are having these national highways connecting different important capitals and other major cities in the India. And a few national highways are interconnected with other central level ports, like that in our India we are majorly with Bangladesh, Nepal and besiding countries. That means beside countries we are having connection with these national highways. But at that junction points we are having these toll gates and other checking conditions to allow the vehicles. Next one is the, in the national highways we are having a length of 70,548 kilometers of Indian highways, with a cover of 2% of total road network in the India, and carry 40% of the total traffic. That means 2% of total roads. That means if we are having 100 kilometers of roads, in those 2 kilometers are national highways. Okay, and they are bearing 40% of traffic, total traffic. That means we need to memorize, and we need to understand the what the traffic situation in the national highways. That means 40% of the traffic is on national highways, remaining 60% on state, other district roads, major district roads, village roads and express highways. Okay, next point is the total highway connecting is Delhi, Ambala, Amritsar, denoted as NH1. That means National Highway 1, Delhi, Ambala, Amritsar. Those 3 places are at top of the country. That means Amritsar means Punjab and Haryana. Those two places we are having this NH1. Whereas bifurcation of the highway beyond the Jalandhar and Srinagar and Uri is denoted as NH1A. That means Jalandhar also is in Punjab, Srinagar, Jammu Kashmir. And Uri, I didn't know this Uri, where was it was located. Those all are denoted with NH1A. That means in NH1, it is the one of the sub part NH1A. Next point, the longest highway in the India is NH7, which stretches from the Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh to Kanyakumari of the southern region. That means Kanyakumari actually located in Tamil Nadu, from bottommost part of the country to the middle, more than middle. Varanasi means Uttar Pradesh, nearly beside Bihar and West Bengal. Uttar Pradesh is the one of the largest area and largest human population also in Uttar Pradesh. Those two places, this NH7 was interconnecting those two places. That means Uttar Pradesh and Kanyakumari. It is the longest national highway in the India. Okay, today we will end.